YouTube, it's time for an unboxing video. So let me just take this away and we are gonna look at a knife. The Ganzo 753 with carbon fiber scales. Now, I've been waiting quite a while for this. I ordered it at the same time as I ordered the 752, which I incidentally have here, which I'm still very glad. Just put that away. But although they were sent at the same time from GearBest, 752 was quite a bit faster to come than this one, so I expected it with some anticipation. I'm not disappointed. As you can see, it is carbon fiber. There's been some debate if it is carbon fiber all the way through. I actually think it is. So, very nice. As you can see, like the 752, it's anodized hardware all the way through. And you can see this lanyard hole. I don't use lanyards, so I don't really care, but it's there anyway. As you can see, it's G-lock, as Ganzo calls it, but it is of course an axis lock, like Benchmade's. If you will look at the other side, it's a typical pocket clip, not deep carry, but I guess it's okay. And you can see on the blade that it's got the Firebird logo. This is Ganzo's new logo, and I guess it's some sign that they try to step up a bit and produce a little better knives. But returning to the pocket clip, that is typical Ganzo. I have another one here. It's the 739. Exactly the same. I don't like that pocket clip very much. It's too stiff in the pocket and it's very large. But as I'll explain later, I don't want to take it off either. Just put that back. As you can see, the blade is I guess it's a sort of a drop point. There's a bit of jimping here, and a bit here. It's not aggressive in any way, and actually some jimping down here as well. It lies good ergonomically. It lies good in your hand, and you can see. I don't know if I can show you inside the knife, but it's actually milled out there as well. Maybe it's not fair, but I am gonna talk in this video a bit about knife collecting. And being a noob knife collector, I've only collected for about 3 or 4 months. Of course, I don't have so many knives, and the economics sort of sets the bar for what I can buy and how much. So Ganzo knives are definitely in the picture because of price. But I don't know, I guess everyone collecting knives would experience that in the first few months that you collect, you just try to get as many samples of different knives as possible. You try different locks, thumb studs, flippers, and if it was permitted by law, I would probably have an automatic knife as well. I don't have any assisted knives either, mainly because it's also illegal, but I don't really see the point in them. The action on most, what do we call them, passive knives are actually so good that you don't need extra help if you are a normal agile person. But during this period, you, of course, at least I tried to collect some knives that were representative of a lot of different styles and blade styles and thumb studs and flippers, and you sort of develop a taste for what you like the most. And I like thumb studs and I like flippers, but from what I've experienced with Ganzo knives, I don't like axis locks very much. I don't doubt that Benchmade knives perhaps are more smooth in the lock, but I've never tried one, so I can't say. What I can say is I'll just go back to this one. When I bought this one, I was a bit surprised because this axis lock, it was kind of very stiff. So although the knife is smooth, it's difficult with one hand, but it is smooth. The axis lock was terror on my thumb and my point, both fingers here. So I actually had to take it apart and adjust the spring a bit so it would be a bit looser. But but when you do that, in this axis lock, you also adjust the detent. So smoother spring here means less detent. So that was a bit annoying. I actually like a bit of detent in my knives. So you win some and you lose some when you do these sort of things. Another thing, I don't know if it's this typical Ganzo, but I call it my Ganzo finger. When I have to close this knife, I put my little finger here on the pocket clip to give some resistance. I'll just demonstrate. And I have it here so that I can use both fingers up here and close it. And what happens, I don't know if you can see it, but it leaves a mark in my finger. And when I've been flipping a Ganzo knife I do it all evening perhaps, I have a very burning sensation in this finger. Now, to return to the new one, this out of the box was very much smoother in the lock here, but still same place, that pinky finger there. It's also quite smooth. I haven't flipped it that much, but it's quite smooth out of the box. But again, in these with this lock type, well, the smoothness is a bit determined by the knife going on the lock bar here. So if you just loosen it, no problem, but if you let go of the lock, well, then the blade rides on the lock. So some smoothness is required down here in the end of the knife blade. something to consider. This one is smooth. Some of the other Ganzos I have are a bit more rough. And that was what I would like to add about these Ganzo knives. Ganzo is taking a step up, more rounded corners, a bit, sorry, a little bit more fit and finish. So, and that of course also is obvious with the carbon fiber. But then again, carbon fiber is sort of a hit fashion at the moment, so why shouldn't Ganzo make that? What do I think about carbon fiber? Yeah, well, actually, I think it's nice, and it looks nice on a knife. I have more doubts about how practical it is. It is very slippery, I think. Not that I have to stab anyone, so it would slip in my hand, but it feels, for a real beater user knife, I think it's a bit too smooth. I actually think it could slip in your hand. So, returning to what I said about starting collecting and being a noob, well, you have to buy a few knives, and you typically, if it was me, I bought knives of different types, and well, I guess you sort of find out what you like along the way, and maybe I don't like this, especially the access lock a lot. I'm thinking that perhaps I'm evolving into a sort of a flipper guy. So maybe my next Ganzo will be a flipper too. I know they have started making Ganzo 749, which looks a bit like this one, but is different anyway. This was a little bit of a rambling, but I just had some things I wanted to share with you. I have a little funny thing about this one. I made a review. I think it's rather funny. I don't know if you can see it. That this Sunshot, this one, is actually bigger than this one. I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be like that. I don't know. To me, it triggers my OCD. I don't know. I would have liked that they were both the same. Well, anyway, it was about the 753. As I said, I like it a lot. It is smoother and feels better in the hand than the previous Ganzos that I own. So I guess it's not a Benchmade, not a Wii knife, but it's a cheap way to get a carbon fiber knife at a decent quality. So with that, I would just like to say, if you like what I did here, please leave a like. If you like to comment, do that. Please subscribe if you like. And otherwise, have a nice evening, day, whatever, and may your God be with you. Bye bye.